Hi, I'm Leslie Koenig. There were a couple questions that I thought might be better served on videos, so I'm going to use the map that we got in Patagonia for our W trek and go through the itinerary and what we did a little bit with my little journal. So what we did is we went down on March 29th. People are asking if March is a good time to go. It is because it's shoulder season, the beginning of fall. I would probably go mid-March just because right around April, there's a cutoff of when they start to shut things down. So the last 2 weeks of March are great. So we flew into Puerto Natales, which is just south of here. And when we were there, we flew Sky Airlines to get to Puerto Natales. And then we stayed at the Huescar Patagonia Lodge. One important thing is if you're renting a car like we did, the rental companies aren't there at the airport. You have to go into town. So we had to buy this little ticket at the airport to go get our car.
And we took a shuttle. It seemed like the taxis were probably the better deal.
Yeah, shuttle or taxi. You said, sorry, shuttles were the better
The
deal.
taxi was the better
Taxi
deal.
was the better deal.
Yeah.
We stayed one night in Puerto Natales, which was gorgeous. There's a fjord right there. So then the next day, we woke up from Puerto Natales. And by the way, if you want to rent any gear, you can rent it in Puerto Natales. We got trekking poles. So I just kind of walked into a place, make sure you have cash, and get your trekking poles. What else do they have? Tents.
Yeah, a lot of the hostels actually were renting all kinds of gear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So wherever you stay, they might be able to rent you some gear. If not, go into town. Huescar, I don't think did that, but Huescar did give me this map, by the way, which the National Park Service gives this away for free, but they didn't have them. So thank God my hotel gave me this map, which was a lifesaver. Okay, so the next day, March 30th, we started, we really should have rented our poles first. There's tons to eat there, by the way. You can get everything you need down there. Oh, and also get gas in Puerto Natales. If you don't, there is no gas available anywhere on this map.
Yeah.
So good to know, get gas in Puerto Natales.
I think with a full tank, we had like 550 kilometers of range. And after 6 days of driving, we still had like maybe 100 kilometers left, maybe a bit more. And so yeah, we definitely had to go back to town just to top up because they gave us a vehicle with half a tank of gas. So
yeah, top up before you go. Also rent your trekking poles before you go.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we woke up and we were driving up on Route 290, which this map doesn't tell you very well what's paved, what's not. Don't worry about it. Just follow Y290 up. We did stop at the Cave of the Mylodon, which was a spontaneous stop. Highly recommend. It's kind of pricey to get in, but you can see my children drew some nice photos, and it's a really cool place to go.
Yeah, it's just outside. It's outside of the park, so it's not actually it's on the way.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like less than $20 for all of us to go, and you can actually hike around there. There's three different caves to actually hike there, and there's a little shop with coffee and everything. That was a really good stop.
Yeah. Okay, so enough about that. Okay, so we're getting to the park. I'm getting to the part where all the questions are about the W trek, which you can see right here. That's what's called the W trek. Basically like this. And then the O trek includes, so you kind of do this whole thing, plus going up, and up. So what we did was we drove up here, and it changes from paved to not. You're not going to have any signal, so don't even try to use your GPS email app or your Google Maps. Anyway, this is the Serrano Gatehouse. You can stay outside the park here at the Rio Serrano Pueblo. We did not. So basically you can pay here. They had no electricity working when we got there. They also weren't even able to take cash. So they were like, this is where you would normally pay your park entry fee. But we didn't because they had no electricity. So basically we just kept going. And then we took Y150. Going past, stunning views everywhere you go. And we started over here. Coming up from Puerto Natales, they had no electricity. So we kept driving and taking pictures like every 2 minutes because it's gorgeous because you can see this mountain range right here. This is the big mountain range that you're going to be photographing left and right. We took a wrong turn here and ended up at these cascades. So that's a good little day hike. Not even a day hike. It's
a couple hours, yeah.
Yeah, it's there's a little cafe right here, and you can look at waterfalls there.
That little cafe ended up being kind of like one of our little
that's like a central
home
spot.
bases that we would stop and recharge, grab something to eat, some tomato soup, some coffee, whatever. And It's a good
right
launch
there.
point to different parts of the park from there.
That little star. So we actually stayed up here. And by the way, this route, if you want to see Guanacos, this is a great road to see them over here and then over here.
Yeah.
Because there's
this one's closed. Right?
Yeah, you can't do this without a guide because of the it gets too dangerous. I guess there's like pumas and stuff. Okay, so we drove up to here. That only took maybe, and we went to Las Torres Hotel, which is kind of pricey, but Las Torres Hotel is really cool. So, so what we did day one, let me go back and look. We stayed there, and our first hike, we got up at 7:30 in the morning. Oh, the light went on.
Yeah, it said it got too hot.
Oh, okay. So we got up at 7:30 in the morning, and then we left our hotel, which is right at the trailhead for this section right here. There's also, you'll pass through a gate. This is where a lot of people start their trek because the buses dump off here. So a lot of people start over here at El Centro.
They're all called Mirador, whatever the thing is. So this is what, Mirador Las Torres up here?
Yeah, so when they say Mirador, it means lookout.
Yeah.
But that's all up here and up here. So anyway, basically we start here at 7:30 and then we started hiking and we got up to the Mirador. As you'll notice, so here is where we start the trek, go down, and then you start climbing. And then there is a refugio here called Chileno, El Chileno. That is run by these guys, the Hotel Torres. So when you go to book your campsites, Chileno is by the Las Torres Hotel. So is Los Cuernos, and I think Frances also. So if you want to book these sites, you have to do it through the Hotel Torres website. Also, it gets very confusing because at El Chileno, there's a shelter, which is like a hostel and camping. So you have to book your tent, campsite, things like that. We had an issue where I thought I booked Los Cuernos, but they had shut it down. They didn't tell me. They booked me over in Chileno. You may notice this is literally the other side of the mountain.
That all happens on April 1st. That's when the season changes.
Yeah, the season changes April 1st. And yet, I think they changed it on, when was it?
It was April 1st.
It was April 1st.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't tell us. They shut it down. So, a little frustrated about that. Anyway, so what we did is we hiked up, and then what that gave us a day, since our plan was to hike up and back, and then spend the night, and then hike over here to Los Cuernos, stay a night, and then the next day was to hike up to the Mirador Británico, and what you'll see is a glacier here, the French glacier. There's a beautiful lookout, and then up here to the British lookout, Británico. What happened was that Frances was full, Los Cuernos was shut down, and Italiano was also shut down. This says it's a campsite. It's not. You can, however, if you're going this way, say you stay at El Chileno, some people will stay there, go up and do a sunrise view of the Los Torres, and then hike back, which we saw plenty of people doing that as we were coming up. They were coming back down. The food, it looked amazing and smelled amazing at El Chileno. So we did not do this section of the trail because of that being shut down and Frances was full. I believe Frances is also owned by Las Torres Hotel. Italiano, there are park rangers there, and a lot of people dump their packs here. If you are doing the whole thing, you can dump your pack there. There are bathrooms, water, and the park rangers, picnic tables. But by the way, they close off the trail at 2 here. So you have to pass this by 2 p.m. Otherwise, they won't let you go.
Same with Chileno.
Same with El Chileno. They don't let you pass that after 2 p.m. There's not many signs about this, so it's a very good thing to know so you can plan your trek out. Because you can't leave here at noon and, well, you probably could depending on your hiking, but you can't leave at 1 p.m. from your hotel and then expect to just do a sunset view or something. They won't allow you to do that. They literally won't let you pass.
It's all about getting all the slowest trekkers down from the mountain before it gets dark.
Yeah, they don't want to have to do any rescues. So, by the way, good thing to know about the 2 p.m. closures. And sometimes they'll say 3. There's a lot of varied information.
For what it's worth, though, the trails are extremely well marked. There's no doubt that you're on the trail.
Yes.
Even in a couple places where there's rocks all over and you're not quite sure which rocks are the trail and which there is not, there's stakes with red paint on them, or there's a paint spot on a tree and you can see exactly where you're supposed to go.
Yeah. So what we would have done was to do that and then down Los Cuernos, stayed there, which by the way, again, owned by Las Torres Hotel, and then gone up to this Mirador, and then we did stay here at Paine Grande. So they also call it Paine Grande Shelter and Camping. What that actually means is Vertice, Vertice, actually is a different company that owns that hostel. It is very well run. The food is amazing.
Yeah, it was
we
really
did
good.
stay there one night.
There's a full-on bar, like everything.
Yeah,
Like
huge bar,
this is
cafe.
glamping. This is not like
Super
hardcore
glamping, yeah.
backcountry.
Yeah. So what we ended up having to do, just so you're aware of what our actual experience was, is that we stayed here, we hiked up and down, and then we went out the next day and went to the Pine Waterfalls, which is cool, looked out at other waterfalls. We went to the Explora Hotel and saw their waterfalls. We saw these waterfalls. And then the next day, Bob and I drove down here to where we just mentioned with a cafe, took the boat, which by the way shuts. It's run by hipsour.com.
Yeah, the route for the boat is actually on the map too. So
Yeah.
and the times change depending on time of year. Like up through the end of March, they had more boat rides per day, both directions, and then on April 1st, it was basically 2 a day per.
April
per
1st, they shut down the first boat at 8:30. So we showed up here at 10:30, which it's a half-hour ride over here, and for the boat, and then you end up here at Vertice or Paine Grande Station. The hostel is great. They also have campsites with tents, and it's a very kind of a la carte thing that you can do there.
And we were there before, like we could check into our hotel, but they let us dump our bags and stuff so that we didn't have to take our bags up.
Yeah, so I dumped like my toiletry bag and stuff because they have showers there, which are great. So bring shower shoes, bring a towel, but dump it at the station and then they will lock it up for you. So my husband and I, we then walked all the way up here to the Mirador Británico and then back down. Now we had to hike pretty quickly to get back before the sun was going down. This took us...
We left at 11:30 and we got back at 8:30.
p.m.
And that was including about 45 minutes to an hour of stops at the viewpoints. So
Yeah.
we were booking too. We were moving really fast. People were
Yeah.
like, "You guys went all the way up and back and that much." So
Don't
I would
recommend it.
not recommend that. But
If you can get
The early, yeah.
go before April 1st so that you can get here at 9 a.m., do this hike and come back if you want it to just be a day hike.
Right.
So
either way, it's still almost 18 miles. So it's a big day.
here and back.
Yeah.
What most people do, if I were to do it again, this is what I would do. I would take the boat from Budete. Is that Budendo? What is it called?
The launch spot.
Llegué a los Patagonios at Puerto Pudeto. So you start at Puerto Pudeto here, and you take the boat over. What I would have done is probably hiked up to Gray and maybe stayed at the Paso campsite. People said that this was okay. I don't know, I just would have done that to do this section of the W trek, just to do the full thing. People said it was okay. It's a pretty easy hike. We talked to people who did it. Basically, go over, dump your gear, go up, and either stay there or come up and come back. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is, I believe, from here, the Gray station, you can take a boat, and the boat does stop here, and people were getting off and on, but you have to arrange that ahead of time. That is through Hotel Gray and Lago Gray Navigation here, Gray Lake Hotel. So that's
Very
an
nice
option.
place.
Super, super nice. We would have liked to stay there. Anyway, bottom line is you can go up here and take the boat and then go down. So anyway, you can do that. And then stay at Vertice, which has its own website. And then what I would do is then get your gear. This is the way most people were doing it. Go up, dumping your gear on the way, get there before 2 p.m., see Mirador Británico, come back down and stay in either Frances or Los Cuernos. Next day, get up and then go over to El Chileno or even all the way up. Probably just stay at El Chileno. And then go up. Another thing you can do is if you don't want to stay at El Chileno or if it's full, you can always go from Frances or Los Cuernos and then just go to Las Torres Hotel and then the next day do the hike like we did is another option. So for the whole O hike, they were shutting that down also. I think we talked to people who were like, oh, I was the last one to go. Again, April 1st.
Because there's more refugios all around. Like on the map, you'll see there's various campsites. and you have to stop at a few. Like there are overnights at a few of those, and those were shutting down for the season, so people weren't able to do the full O circuit anymore.
Yeah.
That year.
And then just in case you're wondering what else we did in the park, after we did this hike, we took the boat back over here. My mom and our kids were there. They stayed over here at Hotel Teoe, which is a gorgeous little
On a little
hotel
island.
on an island. You can walk out. They have free Wi-Fi, by the way. There's no Wi-Fi in the park.
Actually,
But
they
have free
do.
Wi-Fi there in Good Pisco Sours.
This little cafe we talked about, they have this
You pay for it
Wi-Fi
there.
per hour thing, and those hotspots are in different locations. But
Yeah, you have to pay for it there. Also bring cash, or efectivo is the other name in Spanish. Probably bring $100 worth. Although here, the most places you're able to use your credit card.
Yeah, the boat only takes cash, right?
The boat only takes cash. And how much was it? It was 25 each way. 25 meal or $30
Per person.
per person per way. So you have to have cash for the boat if you're gonna do this ferry here. Okay, going back. So then we stayed over here and then went up and did the Gray Lake Glacier Tour, which is amazing.
Awesome.
Absolutely do that. Do not miss out on that opportunity.
You get pretty close to the glaciers. You go into all three.
Yeah, you go.
You go
boop.
up in there, and then you come around and come around. So
Yeah.
you get pretty close. I think to this middle one was really close. Like not
Yeah.
reach out and touch it close, but within pretty
As
close.
for what to pack for the hike, I wore 2 pairs of leggings, a silk layer, and then an over layer. That was more than enough. I wore what do you call them? Lone Peak Ultra Trail Runners, and then I wore a wool T-shirt, a long sleeve thin sun hoodie, and a ball cap, a stocking cap, and a puffer jacket.
Yeah, it
and
was
gloves.
Yeah, it was never really cold.
Yeah.
Like
And when you get up here was the coldest.
yeah,
for
when you
us.
stop. Yeah.
Yeah. I did bring rain pants and a raincoat, which I never needed.
Yep.
But I'm glad I had them. And then trekking poles are a must.
Yeah.
I definitely
Definitely for coming down.
Yes, because there's a lot of elevation changes up here. This was like a 3,000 foot day,
Something like that.
and this was something like a 2,000, almost 3,000 foot day. This was like, yeah, anyway, it was a lot. So trekking poles are a must.
I personally wore just like for that second hike up to Britannico up here, I literally wore just a wool T-shirt for most of it. So it's all right,
Yeah. Well, okay.
It was hot enough.
Here,
It was warm
you
enough.
hike.
So
In case you're wondering what my husband, kind of the disembodied voice off camera, looks
so
like.
I the morning part of it was still like 11:30 by the time we were doing this section. So it's already we were moving fast. Our bodies were already staying warm. I never felt like the need for more layers. I was, if anything, taking them off, and literally from there all the way up, all the way back down, I was wearing just a T-shirt.
Oh, and water.
Yeah, you can get water here. You can get water at Chileno. There's water stations, but again, I didn't even like compared to the one thing that we noticed, and Leslie and I talked about this a lot, is compared to the stuff when we do like Colorado hiking, is you're already up at elevation before you start even going up higher. So you're already breathing hard on any climbs in Colorado. This is all at sea level. You start at sea level and then you go, or maybe, tens of feet above sea level, and then you're going up from there. So there was one spot here and maybe one spot at Las Torres where we were, huffing and puffing a little bit, but it's nothing like you deal with in Colorado, and you have less weight. So it's all about your legs more than anything else. Your legs get sore, just like any hike, but it's definitely not something you have to acclimatize for.
Yeah, the lack of altitude. This is almost sea level, which is great. So for me, water, I took just one like small squeeze bottle and one extra bottle, and that was all I really needed. On the way, someone did ask us for water. And I don't know. For me, I think what I would do it again, I would bring my Be Free. I'll bring that and one water, and that's really all you need.
There's a lot of running water there.
Yeah. So someone asked a question about what are the search and rescue services like in the national parks. I don't know. We did not bring. I have a Garmin InReach Mini, which I did not bring because I'd heard it was really good there.
Yeah. There's park staff. We didn't actually see anybody on the trails, I'd say, but at all of the campsites there were staff.
Mm-hmm. Are permits needed for hiking, backpacking? No. Do we need to carry stuff in bear canisters? No. How far ahead would we need to submit for any permits? Don't worry about it.
Just campsites.
As far as I know,
Yeah.
I would check, but as far as I know, there are no permits needed to do any of this. You just have to have your reservations, and bring
Yes.
your passport
Yes.
also, because when you check into a refugio or right here, they want your passport. And your little ticket that you get from customs when you enter the country.
Yeah, the thing you want to get ahead of is your campsite reservations. Everything else you can do there.
Where are places to stay along the O? I mentioned that. Where can we? And then there's food here at Pane Grande, and there was food at El Chileno.
And there was food obviously down at the hotels down here, Las Torres Hotel. They call this El Centro, this Eco Camp Patagonia place. Like there's a bunch of like packer friendly stuff down here, like a bus stop. The bus comes here and drops people off so they can do this hike. And there was a restaurant there that did that had most of their food was like reservation only for tour, like for guided tour stuff. But we were able to get some stuff off menu or some menu items as well. So.
Oh, someone else asked, by the way, about hiking with kids. If your kids are good hikers, fine. They're not very good with kids here. They get annoyed by kids in a way, and they don't want them running around. They want you minding them all the time. And our kids are 5 and 7. And in the refugios, I didn't see any children at all. Like none. Nobody below probably the age of 18. Can you do it? Sure. I would not advertise it. So.
Yeah, it's more like there just wasn't kids. So I don't know how they knew how to deal with them. But we did see another family that was there that had like literally like 6 kids that was doing the boat
but
tour.
They were on the boat.
Yeah.
They were on the boat. They
on
were
the trails,
staying
we
here.
didn't see many kids.
Yeah.
Not that they're not allowed. It's just there's the people who are there tend to be younger, college aged, or retirees.
Yeah. What time of year would you suggest is best to go? I would say March. Don't go past April because things are shutting down. I think those are the big things. Did we hike with the kids? No.
Little stuff.
No, we only did like this little tour here. And then in the cave of the Milodon, La Cueva del Milodon, there was a small hike.
Yeah.
So that's about all I can think of for now. Hope that helps.
Okay.